Mascis formed Dinosaur Jr. in Amherst, Massachusetts after his hardcore punk band Deep Wound broke up in 1984. Hooking up with fellow high school student Lou Barlow on bass, Mascis initially played drums in Dinosaur, but shortly afterward former all-white Jury drummer Murph joined the group and Mascis moved to guitar. Over the next year, the group developed a local following, and in 1985 the trio released its debut album Dinosaur on the Homestead label. The record and the group's crushingly loud concerts developed a cult following over the next year. By the end of 1986, a hippie rock group called Dinosaur featuring former members of Jefferson Airplane and Country Joe and the Fish sued the band, which changed its name to Dinosaur Jr. In 1987, Dinosaur Jr. signed to Black Flag's indie label SST and released You're Living All Over Me, which became an underground sensation, with groups like Sonic Youth championing Mascis' wild feedback-heavy guitar. Early in 1988, they released the seminal single Freak Scene, a song that captured the feeling and tone of the emerging American post-punk underground. Freak Scene became a college radio hit, and it led the way for their acclaimed 1988 album Bug. Although the band's popularity continued to grow, tensions were developing between Mascis and Barlow, who rarely talked to each other. In 1989, Mascis told Barlow that the group was breaking up. The following day he reformed Dinosaur Jr. without Barlow, who went on to form Sebadoh. Without Barlow, Dinosaur Jr. relied on a rotating array of guest bassists, including Don Fleming and the Screaming Trees' Van Conner. In 1989, the group had an underground hit with its non-LP cover of The Cure's Just Like Heaven. The following year, they signed with Sire Records. After Just Like Heaven, Mascis remained quiet for several years as he produced acts like Buffalo Tom and collaborated with friends like Sonic Youth and Fleming's Velvet Monkeys. Green Mind Dinosaur's 1991 major label debut was recorded almost entirely alone by Mascis, and its varied eclectic sound was received poorly in many alternative rock circles. Before the Green Mind tour, former Snake Pit member Mike Johnson became the group's full-time bassist. On the subsequent tour, Dinosaur Jr. were supported by Nirvana, whose success with Nevermind soon overshadowed Dinosaurs. Instead of capitalizing on the commercial breakthrough of alternative rock, Dinosaur released an EP, Whatever's Cool With Me, in early 1992 and disappeared to record their next album. Released early in 1993, Where You Been benefited greatly from the commercial breakthrough of alternative rock, and many of the articles surrounding the album's release hailed Mascis as an alternative godfather. It became the first Dinosaur album to chart, peaking at number 50. And it generated the modern rock hit Start Choppin'. That summer the group played on the third Lollapalooza tour. Mascis recorded the band's next album without Murph, who unceremoniously left the band, and he later joined the Lemonheads. Dinosaur Jr. released Without a Sound in 1994 to mixed reviews, but the album was a moderate hit, thanks to the MTV and modern rock hit Feel the Pain. In the fall of 1995, Mascis launched his first solo acoustic tour, which was captured on his first official solo album Martin and Me, released in the spring of 1996. After contributing several Brian Wilson-styled songs to Allison Anders' 1996 film Grace of My Heart, he also made an appearance in the movie. Mascis completed Dinosaur's next album on his own, leaving Johnson to his solo career. Upon its spring 1997 release, Hand It Over was hailed as Mascis' best album in years, although it failed to generate a significant hit. By the late 90s, Mascis decided to break up Dinosaur Jr. and launch a solo career, resulting in the release of More Light in 2000. The new group's ensuing tour was cut short in June of 2001, however, when its tour bus was involved in a serious accident in Sweden, resulting in Mascis cracking 2 vertebrae. In the wake of their breakup, a pair of post-mortem Dinosaur Jr. collections saw the light of day in the early 21st century. 2000's Live in the Studio BBC sessions, and 2001's their Bleeding Country The Best Of. In addition, the history of Dinosaur Jr. original lineup was documented in Michael Azarad's excellent 2001 book of 80s alt-rock pioneers. Our Band Could Be Your Life. In 2005, Dinosaur Jr.'s first 3 albums were reissued on Merge, and Mascis announced that the original band would be reuniting for a short tour. A year later, Green Mind and Where You Been were reissued by Sire with bonus tracks, while Rhino released J. Massey's Live at CBGB's, a recording of an acoustic gig from 1993. To coincide with the 2006 reissues, the reunited band began a worldwide tour and announced plans to work on material for a new album which surfaced in 2007 in the form of Beyond. The reunion stuck, and the original lineup of Dinosaur Jr. eventually released Farm in 2009, followed by I'd Bet on Sky in 2012. The members of Dinosaur Jr. spent the next 4 years pursuing solo projects. J. Massey's released Tied to a Star in 2014, Lou Barlow released Brace the Wave in 2015, and the group then returned in the summer of 2016 with Give a Glimpse of What You're Not. The band's third phase outlasted the first two, with the reunited Dinosaur Jr. establishing consistent cycles of touring and recording. The band began work on their 12th studio album, Sweep It Into Space, in 2019, but both recording and release plans were complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The album featured contributions from Kurt Vile in the form of production input and auxiliary instrumental performances. The Billboard charting Sweep It Into Space was released in April of 2021.